Now I'd like to call to order and convene the public hearing for the 2015-2016 general fund budget. And at this time, we're going to have a budget overview. Mr. Richardson, you're going to lead us in that.
Thank you, Mr. Gant, members of the board. I got it. Excuse me, there's not a whole lot different you're going to see tonight than we've seen in previous meetings talk about our proposed general fund budget. However, it is tough to follow up what we just witnessed, so I hate to bring everybody back down to earth a little bit, but here we go. I just think this quote is appropriate just because this is the whole reason why we're here. Our 2015-2016 general fund budget right now is being proposed to go up by $3,094,100, which is 1.89% increase. What I've tried to show you here is everything that we have either added or taken out of this budget as a result trying to get it balanced. We've increased our budget for the school resource officers by $150,000. We've lost categorical funding of $1.1 million that the general fund has had to absorb. We, of course, have increased utility costs as a result of inflationary increases and opening of the new school. We're looking at an additional 11 FTEs for the Chapin Intermediate, Chapin Middle School addition. 2 more FTEs as a result of the additional grade at Spring Hill High School. And we just got notification that we're going to have a $30,000 increase in our general liability insurance. And of course, the mandated step and teacher credential increases as well as fringe benefit increases of almost $2 million. So our total increases in this budget are just a little bit greater than $4.6 million. We've also gone in and taken a close look at all of our expenditures and some things that we could possibly do to bring that total down. So we reduced our travel, food, and membership budgets across the district by $147,000. We've eliminated 10 permanent substitute positions in the district. We've eliminated intramural sports supplements. We've reduced 2 media specialist positions. We've reduced a media specialist assistant position. We'll not fill 1 math interventionist vacancy. We're redirecting some reading interventionist positions to other positions in the district. We're even changing our lawn mowing cycle from 10 days, every 7 days, to every 10 days. And we also are either going to raise or lower, depending on the time of year, our HVAC set points by 1 degree, and probably not allow schools to override that. That'll give us a cost savings. And we've also reduced all of our supply and materials accounts across the district. So our total decreases in this district are a little better than $1.5 million. But that comes back to your $3 million increase in the overall budget from last year. There are also other things that we're doing to try to control our costs and hopefully see some savings down the road. But first and foremost, of course, is just the implementation of our new integrated HR fund accounting system. We've tried to at least put off the effects of the Affordable Care Act by moving our substitutes to a staffing agency to handle those for us. We're looking at ways to maximize any potential rebates on P-cards and electronic payments. We're performing energy audits. We've enacted other kind of energy saving measures, including giving procedures on proper shutdown for weekends and holidays. We've looked and done an in-depth analysis of all of our district staffing requirements to make sure that we're staffed consistent across the district and minimize the need for additional positions. We've also met with employees to define what the expectations are for those folks who receive salary supplements for extracurricular or co-curricular duties. We have frozen all of those supplements at the current FY 2015 level. We've also implemented some new procedures for separating supplemental agreements from the normal teacher contracts. I mentioned earlier we've reduced all of our travel, food, and membership budgets. Our supply accounts have been reduced. We're also incorporating LED lighting at our new middle school to hopefully minimize the try to be a little bit greener and reduce some labor costs there as well. And then we're also, looking at replacing lighting across the district over the coming years. And we're also looking at other ways that we can possibly reduce some of our contracted services costs. This is just a breakdown of our budget, and I will mention that the information you see here with current taxes is, and I'll explain this later in the presentation, but this includes a 15.7 mil increase. So our current taxes we project to be at $59.7 million. Our total local revenue, of course, would be $63.3 million. Our state money, and this hasn't changed much since we started talking. We've got a little bit better numbers from the state, but they haven't really changed much. But our state dollars total $99.2 million, which is almost 60% of our budget. Of course, all the other transfers from other funds of $3.9 million, which gives us a total funds available of $166.4 million. Now we'll talk about the expenditure side. Our salaries, and you can see salaries and fringe benefits there are close to 80, or excuse me, about close to 90%. And of course our total expenditures are exactly what you saw as our revenue, $166.4 million. This is just a comparison of last year's budget to this year's budget, so you can see where the changes have been made. You will notice that salaries doesn't look like they're going up very much, only less than 0.5%, but that's due to the fact that we've moved all of our substitute salaries to the contracted services line, which is why you see that line increasing as much as it is. I wanted to show you this. I've got two graphs actually I want to show you. I've just went back and pulled some information that takes us back from 2006 to 2014 on audited actual data in the district. And the percentage that our revenue has grown is a little better than 4%, and our expenditures have grown a little better than 4.5%. And this graph, what it illustrates is where we're headed with no millage increases. As you can see, going into 2016 and further on out, that gap between our expenditures and revenue will continue to grow, which means we'll have bigger problems down the road. This shows you the same information with the 15.7 mil increase. So as you can see, it's more closely aligned through about 2017-18 in that neighborhood before we start seeing that gap to grow again if we don't take some action. I showed this to the board at our last meeting. A little bit different format, not quite as busy this time, but I just wanted to give you some information regarding Act 388 and the look back provision, I guess. We're able to look back for 3 years to pick up any millage that was not imposed by the board to the maximum allowed under Act 388. And in this case, in 2013, there was no millage increase. So, pardon me. So had that millage been imposed back in 2013, you can see all the way on the right-hand column that through this year, we have lost potentially almost $6.3 million in revenue that we could otherwise had. This is the formula that gives us the current millage increase cap based on the CPI and the Lexington Richland 5 population growth. Our current millage rate of 235.8 mills times the 2.7% gives us the ability to raise millage for next year of 6.4 mills. This is just a copy of or at least a portion of a copy of the section of law that deals with that, and I highlighted in blue the piece that lets us go back for 3 prior years to pick up allowed increases that weren't previously imposed. This is what I estimate the value of 1 mill to be, $236,926 for 2016. And of course, the estimated value of 6.4 mills, would be a little better than 1.5 million. The estimated value of the 9.3 mills, which is the 3-year catch-up provision, would be $2.2 million, and then the 15.7 mills, which is a combination of both, is a little better than $3.7 million. Here's what our estimated cost to a taxpayer would be under all 3 scenarios. Of course, anybody owning a home is exempt from school operations tax. Anybody owning a vehicle assisted, $20,000 would be an additional cost of $7.68 with the 6.4 mil increase. For the 9.3 mil increase, it would be $11.16, and for the 15.7, it would be $18.84. All other personal property and businesses that are assessed at 6% and with an assessed value of $100,000 per $100,000, the additional cost for the 6.4 mils would be $38.40. The 9.3 mils would be $55.80, and of course the 15.7 would be $94.20 for each $100,000 of assessment. Just to recap where we are, this is our projected revenue with no millage increase, $162.7 million. Our projected expenditures of $166.4 million. Our projected shortfall with no millage increase is $3.7 million. If we only put on the 6.4, our shortfall would be 2.2. With an additional 9.3, we'd be at 1.5 million shortfall, and of course, with the 15.7, we're balanced. And I'll put up my usual disclaimer, just to let you know that these are the most updated numbers that I have right now. And of course, as you've been keeping up with the news, the budget still has not passed, although the Senate did complete their part of it on May 7th. And the projections you see here are based upon that. I would like to draw your attention, though, to a couple of things that are of value to keep in mind. The base student cost for the current year was appropriated at $2,120. It was actually capped as of the 135th day at $2,100.65. The reason that is because the statewide weighted pupil units have exceeded what was projected. Our 2016 projected base student cost is $2,220, and we may be in the same situation next year if the weighted pupil units have not been projected correctly. And that ends my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'll remind the board, this is our public hearing on the budget, so we're now going to hear from members of the public that have signed up to speak.